Good afternoon, NuPath. My name is Dan Harrison. I am your host. This is NuPath Live. We thank you for tuning in. This is, how would you describe NuPath Live to somebody that didn't know? This is the way that we are attempting to stay connected with all of you. Really, it had its roots in the beginning of the pandemic when we decided to use video to greater advantage. And something NuPath is known for is their ridiculous and sometimes crazy CEO that would use video from time to time to communicate with all of you, to let you know I'm a real person and sort of some of the what's up. And this is just a more structured and thoughtful way to hopefully get information to our employees where they are and to give them a little flavor of the kinds of things that are happening across this organization. Before we go too far into our program today, we are going to do, you know what, our favorite, Mr. Brett Riley, who's got the favorite wheel, the staff. What do we call this wheel? Every week I draw a blank on that, Brett. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you see me, Dan?
I don't. Are you there?
I am.
There you are. Sorry. Brett, there you are.
Here I am.
Looking forward to seeing you there by the wheel. What do we call the wheel again? I promise.
The back to better basket.
Back to better. See, it wasn't a wheel at all. It's the back to better basket. And this basket is for what, Brett? What are we doing here?
Well, we are celebrating people that got their vaccinations. So far we've celebrated 5 of our employees that have been vaccinated with $100 gift cards, and there's a grand prize on June 3rd.
June 3rd. And what's that grand prize, Brett? It sounds like it should be grand.
We are going to cover your health insurance for a year.
What? That could be like $8,000 or $9,000. That's a lot of money.
It's incredibly generous, and yeah, that's awesome. So get vaccinated.
It's for people that have gotten both vaccines. And we're going to talk toward the second half of our show today with Matt Johnson, who's going to kind of update us on some of the things that are going on with the vaccine program here at NuPath and where we stand with all that. But before we go any further, let's roll that, or let's flip that basket, or let's whatever you do with baskets. You go ahead and do it. Back to the basket.
All right.
Oh, the anticipation is killing me.
The winner is Robert Sawyer, right here at New Boston.
Robert Sawyer, congratulations. That's $100 for Robert Sawyer for being vaccinated. And the thinking behind this is people, we want to sort of reward or care for our employees that are caring for themselves by getting vaccinated. And it's so critical that we continue to do that and push anyone and to help anyone that may be a little hesitant to get them the information they need to make the decision to do what they need so that we can get out of this last year of a nightmare. So,
Absolutely.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure. And Robert, keep an eye out. You'll have an email this afternoon.
Great. You know what we should do? I was just thinking to mention to Brett, we should find out what the employees who've gotten the $100 did with the $100. Although, you know what? $100 doesn't really go that far anymore. I realize that. We're going to talk very briefly before we go to our first guest, who I'll explain in a minute. But we're going to look at the employee referral bonus program. I hope that's the right order, Greg. This is what we introduced last week or 2 weeks ago, and this is to encourage employees that maybe know somebody that they want to refer, calling it our employee referral stimulus program. And this is when you refer somebody to get hired, you get $300, they get $300, not connected to anything else. And I think at the time I indicated that maybe we would extend this net a little wider. You guys, we're doing a lot better in some ways as an organization from a financial perspective. Our attendance is up. We are getting more and more people back every week. We heard from people last week that from the different programs, day programs, talking about the influx of new people coming in. And right now, the real crisis is the staffing. that we are just feeling a real crisis in getting quality people into our programs. And this affects everybody. This, call it a workforce crisis, affects our people, first and foremost, the people that we're serving in our programs. It affects our employees, existing employees, because if we don't have good people and if we're short-staffed, then that means that people have to work a lot harder, and there's not the kind of team cooperation and capacity that we would otherwise experience if we were fully staffed. And it affects our families because they're not getting the best quality. So this is an organizational problem. And actually, I was at a ADDP board meeting earlier this morning, and ADDP is actively working with the Commonwealth and within the industry, and is coordinating and implementing a team of some of the brightest minds in the industry to begin to help us look again at this issue and to try to figure out ways that we can do more to recruit quality people into these positions. You know, I have a theory. My theory is that there's lots of people out there. I normally say young people, but young people means anybody younger than 50. There's a lot of people out there, I think, that are probably working in jobs. Maybe they're jobs that they kind of fell into. Maybe they were, convenient job when they got out of high school, or it's kind of stepped into along the way. Maybe they're not really happy. Maybe they're not really challenged. And NuPath can be a great career. If you're somebody that's ambitious and you want to do something of great value with your life, and you want to work for an organization that's progressive and forward thinking, you should think about starting up with NuPath. And it was just a matter of, I've given my business card to people behind the deli, hired an Uber driver. If ever I see somebody that looks like they've got something about them that I think that we could use at NuPath, I'm famous for trying to sell this organization. So what I'm going to suggest is that if you're out there watching this, if you are connected with NuPath in some way, and if you're watching this, then you probably are. And if you know somebody in your network, somebody that maybe is underemployed or not employed, or if you have a high school grad that's just getting out of high school or about to graduate, and they don't have a job already, not sure what to do, you should really think about referring them to NuPath. We'll do the due diligence of assuring that they're qualified to do this job. And if we hire them, I would say that we will pay this $300 referral fee, and of course the sign-on bonus for the new employee. And also, while we're at it, I didn't realize that we hadn't extended this program to our managers and directors. If you're a manager director for this organization, and you know somebody, maybe it's a family member or a friend of a friend, or a son or a child of a friend, that you want to refer, as long as that person is not being hired into a position that would report to you, because that would violate our nepotism policies, we're gonna extend this program to you as well, because we really need all hands on deck, and we need the best ideas. We need the broadest kind of network that we can get out there to try to get people to come in and work for the organization. So really, guys, this is so important, and if we're to continue to climb out of the hole that we were driven into when this pandemic hit, and it hit hard. Let's not dance around that issue. But we've survived. We're on the other side. We're looking forward to bigger, better things, back to better. And we need the staff that are ready to help us do that. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask Matt Abelman to join me. Matt's a new employee that began working with us a few weeks ago in our accounts payable position. And one of the things that I miss the most about everything virtual or a lot virtual, and this rotten sort of pandemic that we're climbing through, is the fact that I don't get to see staff the way I once was able to. We used to do in-person new staff orientations, and I was able to meet many new employees as they came on board. And for me, I'm a people person, so it's very important to me that I see people face to face, or feel that I have a chance to kind of get to know who people are. But Matt is somebody that just started recently in our business office, and we'll ask him to come on. I just want to talk to him a little bit about his position and about him joining NuPath, and introduce him to all of you. So we'll ask Matt to join us now, and we'll let him share a little bit about what he is, what his experience has been like coming into this organization. And I don't, if you wonder why I'm kind of, not going forward, because I don't see him yet. So we're waiting for him to there he is. Oh, well, he's about there. Now I see him, you don't, but very smooth production here, man. Don't you think you're probably just like, wow, they are true professionals? Like,
oh, it's great. So you can see me. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Make sure you sit close enough to the mic so we don't want to miss a single word that you say. And thank you for coming today. Welcome. Now you have been with, we just saw Deb Harris just poke around the corner.
Yeah,
Didn't realize that she was on NuPath Live. You have been with the organization for, she just waved. Hey, Deb. See, that's how you know it's live, guys. We're just, no fluff here. We just go right into the trenches. So Matt, this is probably the first time you've been asked to be on a live broadcast, a month into your new position. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, it is. Not even a month. This is week 2, so still fresh.
Week 2. Now, yeah. I know that you were among at least 4 finalists for this position. Bill Yates, the team, had interviewed, I think there was 4 total. And I should also mention that this position that you've come into is a position that we held vacant for over a year. And the reason we did is because the person, your predecessor, who she had resigned just about the time that we closed our programs down due to the pandemic. And this is probably also a good time to give a big shout out to Judy Miskell, who we all know and love dearly. And Judy, of course, works very closely now with me, is my assistant, and just does a million things. But also with her AP background, she filled in during the past year, and Bill Yates' team covered some of the gaps. But they were very anxious to be hiring into your position. And I know that you came highly recommended. You are from Bay Cove, which is a kind of a sister organization in the area. How did you, can you tell us how you found the job and kind of what, I mean, not a lot of people seem to be looking for work during the pandemic, but you did. You came to us. Talk to us about what that was like for you.
Yeah, because I was at Bay Cove Human Services for over 5 years, really closer to 7 if you include like the internships that I had there. And yeah, it was just, I think maybe it was partly due to the pandemic that, I was at home a lot, working from home. The days just kind of seemed to get redundant. And yeah, it was about like January where I was just, at home on my computer. I was like, I kind of want to see what's out there. So I wanted to stay in the nonprofit, human service industry, because that's what my experience was in, and I, really enjoyed it. And I just started looking on Indeed, and I saw the position was posted on Indeed, and it was something that when I read the bio for it excited me. Most of my experience came on the accounts receivable side at Bay Cove, and this job being an accounts payable position excited me because I thought it would really round out my experience and what I'd be good at, because I had kind of half of the side of what the accounting is, and then I thought getting the accounts payable side would be a really great experience.
Matt Abelman, could you please, just for those people that don't know all the APs and ARs and like what everything means, can you in 30 seconds tell us the difference between AP and accounts receivable?
Yeah, but of course, I think the easiest way to explain would just be accounts receivable is what NuPath is receiving, like money that is being paid to us, like revenue that we are earning. And accounts payable is basically money that we owe. So, so money that we owe. So it'd be like bills, a gas bill, a cable bill, money that we owe. We're paying out of the organization, money that's leaving.
Matt, are you good at paying your bills? You don't have any late fees, do you? You pay everything on time?
I don't think I could be in this position if my own bills weren't up to date.
That's
but
right.
At least I try. So,
And you
yeah.
probably are pretty organized. So you probably are not like running around the last minute looking for your cable bill because you just got shut off and you don't know where, like, that's not you.
No, yeah, I'm pretty organized, and Judy's definitely been making sure that I've been organizing the position so far.
Judy is like the Uber sort of maestro of organization. She is she like I don't think I could survive a day if I didn't have her like telling me which direction to walk in. So she's good for
Yeah,
that.
like you had mentioned before, Judy's been great. She's really been like showing me the ropes so far, helping me out, getting me up to speed during these first couple weeks. So she's been great so far.
Matt, we at NuPath, we really we our feeling is that whatever job you're in, whatever department you're working in, you play an important role to helping NuPath pursue its vision. And I'm interested with something you said. You worked in nonprofits before. You wanted to continue. What is it about working in this field or nonprofits that you've pursued? Something that was that important to you that you thought you would want to go from one nonprofit to another?
Yeah, well, it even started at, I would say, an early age. My dad was a social worker. My older sister is a social worker at Boston Medical Center now. So it's something that, going to like a fundraising walk or, hearing about it at like the dinner table has always been something that, I could relate to. And I like to working somewhere where I feel like making a difference, something that, brings, a positive light to people's lives. And so it's just something that when what you're working at, makes a difference, I just think, that's something that you can be proud of, and it's just a great experience overall.
Well, I'd love to hear that. That's a really A plus answer. I appreciate that. Bill Yetz, who's the CFO and senior vice president of the finance, he's somebody that has worked for nonprofits pretty much his whole life, and it was always important to him that he and his team of people were connected, to the organizational business. And in fact, we've had conversations in the past about, when we were, really crammed for people, looking for space, do we move our business functions out of a program area? Because obviously we provide day services at 147. But it's always been important to him to be really aligned. And that is so important to me as the CEO, because if we did not have our operations, if we did not have our staff that are out there every single day working with our clients and with the families of the people that entrust us to support them, there would be no need for us to hire Matt Abelman of AP. They wouldn't need a CEO because we are here to support our broader community, and our primary sort of, the people that are the front or the spear, I guess you would say, of our business model. So that is something that I was happy to hear in your brief introduction. Now, what is your experience? And I'll give you like another minute or so. What has your experience been like joining NuPath? Have you gotten everything you needed? Do you feel like you've gotten to meet a few people? How's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. It's obviously been, I would say, a little different than maybe it would have been a year and a half ago. I thought that we had like the Zoom orientation meeting the Friday before I started, which I thought was like a great start, getting the lay of the land before actually even starting. And, everyone's been super nice and welcoming here at 147 New Boston Street. I was able to go to Cumming Street when I had my COVID test, and I got a little tour of that location as well, just, see what that was all about. And I thought that was great. And yeah, I would just say overall, considering the landscape that we are in, I thought it was, awesome getting to meet people. And there's been many people have, come by from either downstairs or other locations and have introduced themselves to me, which has been, great as well. So only good things to say so far.
Nice. Well, I mean, and I would hope that if you had a lot of negative things, you wouldn't choose this moment when we're on live broadcast
Yeah.
to share those with me. And just one small correction, only because Cummings is who we pay more money to in rent than I can care to think about is our landlord. Where the Martin Center is, over at 300 West Cummings Park, is where you got your COVID test, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Well, Matt Abelman, thank you so much for your time. It's great to have you here. I would officially welcome you on behalf of the organization, and I hope that you have a long and very amazing career with NuPath for as long as we have you with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, now you got to go home and go watch this on YouTube. You got to make sure your parents are around. You have the parents to see. You're a big star now.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, That's fun. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I used to be able to do, like, you know, when I was walking down the hall or when I was out in programs, and now it seems like it takes some act of Congress in order to make that happen. All right, we have got 10 minutes left. You know, last week was so crazy. I was so fast. I watch every broadcast afterwards to just, you know, see like what never to do again and what makes me look super stupid or whatever. And I was watching. I said that was too many people to cram in. But we're going to bring Matt Johnson up in a minute and ask him to wait. We're going to start over. We're going to bring Vice President Matt Johnson on in a minute to give us some updates on what's going on in program. He is going to be, or he's been, you know, he's been foundational to our vaccine clinics. He's been at the heart of getting those organized, and so Matt is going to join us to talk about where we are with vaccination of our clients and our staff. Before we went live today, Matt told me that we had about 96% of all of our clients have been vaccinated, which is so great, and that we have, I guess, moved the needle beyond the 50% marker now with the staff that have been vaccinated. And so as soon as he is available to come on, and I'm glad this is my first time at NuPath Live, because you'd all think I was losing my mind, but we had a little bit of a delay here. And so, Matt, we're going to welcome you today, or sorry, let me say, Vice President of Clinical Services. Welcome to NuPath Live again.
Thank you.
Now, was it embarrassing when I was saying all kinds of nice things about you last week? Be honest, you can say, like, you know, or did you like?
It's always a little embarrassing, but I do appreciate it. So thank you.
It's one of those things where it's so awkward because secretly on the inside, we as human beings, we like to hear nice things about ourselves. I mean, that's just a fact. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to know that we have value and that we're contributing and that people care for us, and you know, it's part of being a human being, isn't it? I think, and yet we want to be modest and we don't want to be arrogant and we don't want to look as though we're. And it's just embarrassing. But it's always my goal to embarrass staff as much as I possibly can. You know, when it comes to say nice things about people, because we've got some great stuff. Matt, talk to us in just a few minutes we have remaining now about where we stand, you know, with an organization. I understand we have another part of our clinic tomorrow. What's going on in the organization from a vaccine perspective?
Well, things are looking good. You know, as you said, we've broke the 50% mark with the staff. The number of people we support that have accepted and gotten both doses is extremely high, well over that 95%, almost 96% range. So, you know, we do have another clinic tomorrow. We're going to finish up the vaccination for about 114 people that will be getting their second dose of the Moderna vaccine tomorrow through long-term pharmacy. That will hopefully, the weather will hold out and it won't be too terrible for people, but, you know, we'll get it done. And then, you know, really from there, it's going to be about next steps. Like, what do we do for the next round of vaccines and how do we support people? We are definitely here right now, ready to help people if they need to get connected to, you know, the state system and get themselves registered. You can register yourself now with the state system and get yourself in line, you know, for an appointment time. If you need help doing that, definitely reach out and we'll
and
connect.
it's available to everyone, Matt, now, isn't it?
As of the 19th, it will be open to everyone. So yeah, so a few days away, and we're all eligible now. So as employees, so jump on there and get yourself that appointment. You know, I will tell you that I hear about the vaccinations. I've been at the clinics and I've seen the side effects. I talk to many people who've gotten the vaccine, and I haven't had anyone who's had severe side effects that I've talked to. So, you know, people are doing well with it. Yes, people do have the slight fever, the chills, feel tired, maybe some, you know, aches and pains, and certainly the sore arm at the point of injection, but nothing serious. So, you know, I know there is concern about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and it being put on hold, but I think pretty clearly we all know that there were 6 cases out of millions and millions of doses that were administered. So, you know, I'm sure they'll clear the vaccine, Johnson & Johnson vaccine soon, but, you know, we can certainly connect you with other options.
Matt, I heard something on the radio this morning, and or it was a podcast I was listening to that talked about the number of Americans that now have received at least one dose of a vaccine. Do you know the number? Is it as much as 25%, or is it higher than that? It was a big number.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's at the 25% mark, but it's getting up there. It's close to that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're making progress. I wish I had that data right now, because it surprised me. I was pleased to hear that the people are kind of getting on board with it. There are still staff that we had and staff that work for us, clearly, because we're only at 50%. I mean, that's good, but I'd like to see it near 100% because I care about the people that work for us. There's still hesitancy out there. We've got millions and millions and millions of people that have had this across the world now, and in some ways, what's happened with the J&J vaccine and it shows the level of astute sort of oversight that is being applied to the safety of and the efficacy of these vaccines. And it just seems that people by now would start to see that it's they're safe, and we do believe that this is going to help us get to the other side of this pandemic. What would you say do you think the hesitancy angle is start to improve with NuPath employees, or have you seen that move or change very much?
I definitely think it started to improve. I definitely think people are starting to accept the vaccine. They're seeing other people that have gotten it and are doing well with it. And I think they're seeing the numbers. They're seeing the fact that the rates are coming down. I know we have spikes in certain parts of the country, but for NuPath, we're doing extremely well. Our last positive person that we support was in January. And since January, we've only had 3 staff test positive. So,
right?
The numbers are really down. The last staff was mid-March. So, given that, and that's probably not coincidental, the fact that we started vaccinating in late January. Our numbers vaccine numbers skyrocketed through March. So, we are doing extremely well. And I think that people are seeing that, and that should be enough to help them figure out what the right choice is.
Right. Matt, we've got about 2.5 minutes or so left today. I'm going to ask you something that I didn't prepare you for, really, but you're good at thinking on your feet because you're vice president, so you can do that. Believe me, okay, this is the last time I make that joke. It's very stupid. Part of the reason why we felt that you would be so important to be on our team is from a strategic, perspective. Can you just kind of give us a brief sort of thumbnail of how do you see clinical and having the kind of clinical savvy and expertise that you bring to the organization? How is that going to be sort of most important, do you think, as we go into the next 1 to 3, 1 to 5 years? How is that going to help NuPath in our planning and being prepared for the demands of the future?
Well, I think, on several different levels. And I think on one level, as we come out of the pandemic, we're certainly going to find that there are a variety of things that have changed, like the post-pandemic changes to the way we do services and to the larger way we all work. And that will be the same for clinical services, and it'll be the same for the programs. And I think from that, we'll see some, further developments in the use of technology. We certainly see it with Navigating Life, and I think we'll see it in other areas. And the clinical team will really fold in and support that, but not only support it, use it in a way that's effective. And I think being part of that team and really working towards developing the technologies and the way that we use them for the programs and for clinical services will be an important step. Things aren't going to reverse in terms of the way we use technology. We've made great leaps, and we'll see that continue. And then I think from a global perspective throughout the agency, clinical services is tied to everything that we do. It's tied throughout the residential programs. It's tied within the functions of the day services and transportation. We really connect kind of some of that glue that connects things the same way nursing does in the medical component. We really do hold that same function. And it's important that from top to bottom, we keep that focus.
Well, Matt, I worked with you for a long time when we were both a lot younger. Probably both had more hair. I'm just talking about me. And it makes me so happy to know that you're there and providing the kind of services you do with our people. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming on today and for your excellent update. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you, Dan.
All right, Matt. All right, guys, that does it for another half hour of New Path Live. I thank you so much for joining us today. Stay tuned for next week. Things are really rocking, baby. And we've got a lot of work to do as we get back to better and move into this next year. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.